What's going on? It's Ready Set Homestead, where the only fluff is the feathers. And today, turkey processing. So this is gonna be a walkthrough of how you process a turkey. First step, we're gonna get the bird. We're gonna bring it over here to the restricting cones. We're gonna be doing a ventral neck cut to drain out the bird. Once the bird has been drained, we're gonna collect the blood down there. We're gonna bring it over to the scalding pot. Scalding pot, you ask 10 different people, you're gonna get 10 different answers. I do mine between 150 and 155. Typically, you don't wanna go over 155 or you start cooking the bird. This right here is where we're gonna pluck. With turkeys, most pluckers can't hold a turkey, so we're actually gonna be plucking by hand. That bin over there is gonna be for all the feathers. Then it's gonna go into ice. It's gonna cool down in the ice while I'm slaughtering another bird. As it cools down in the ice, once it's done there, we're gonna bring it over to the processing table. This is where we're gonna eviscerate. Eviscerating is taking all the guts out of the bird. Once we eviscerate it, then it's gonna go back into ice over here. Once we're done with that, and once it's cooled off, then we're going to seal it, shrink wrap it. I'll show you that process as well so that you can keep for storage. And it finally goes in the last bucket of ice right there. So this is gonna be a process today. Hope you learned something. And definitely share this with your friends. For the actual slaughtering process, I'm just letting y'all know right now, if I show the cut, then YouTube's probably gonna take this down. So I do have other videos in which you can see how to do that. I'll link those down in the description. I'm also gonna be linking all the products I'm gonna be using, the aprons, the gloves, the lung remover. I'll put in the restricting cones, all from YardBird, great company. I'll even put the tables, so the stainless steel table here, the stainless steel table here, the bags. All of that is going to be listed for Amazon links in the description down below. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let's get a turkey. All right, so I have a towel to catch this one. I use the towel to wrap up the wings. That way they can't hit you. Those wings, man, those wings really hurt. Stallone here, he's blind in one eye, so he couldn't even see me. So it really wasn't that difficult catching him. But make sure you watch out for those claws. Easiest way to grab them is to grab them by the neck and then just shove them down to the ground. So with this, stick it inside the restricting cone, also known as a kill cone. And again, watch those feet, but you're gonna reach through and you're gonna pull the head out from the bottom so that you can get a good grip on it. I do apologize about doing the voiceover here. I don't know what it is about processing. It seems like whenever I process, everybody wants to do, landscaping. So here we go. I'm about to make the cut. I am going to blur out the cut. Again, I know a lot of y'all aren't going to like that. There are other videos I'll link in the description. So here we go, blurring right now. So all I'm doing is making a cut on each side, essentially severing the arteries. Once that happens, blood will start to flow and the bird will lose conscious very quickly. Now, the reason we do a ventral neck cut instead of decapitation is when you do decapitation, you actually cause a shock to the nervous system. So what that does is it causes the brain to stop, it causes the lungs to stop, it causes the heart to stop. By doing this, it keeps the heart beating and it keeps the blood flowing. Again, the bird goes unconscious very quickly. These movements that you see, these are just reactions. It doesn't matter how you actually do the method of slaughter, it's gonna happen. They refer to them as death throes, but essentially it's just all the nerves in the body that are releasing at the same time. So you can see though, it's draining pretty well. This one, this set of birds that we had drained really well. So once it's kind of stopped moving a little bit, I will go ahead and let go. Watch your face. A lot of people like to hold the feet. I just duck below them and then I use them to kind of stand up here. But I think we're going to go ahead and do a second bird just so that you can see how to catch them.
Look how big its feet are. Like, make sure you don't get kicked in the face. Huh? Okay. Hold on. What? Okay, give me a minute. Daddy needs my help. Oh, hello. Ready?
All right, so again here, the towel really does work, but of course right here it doesn't work too great. The biggest thing with the towel is you can use it to just secure those wings. Turkeys have very, very, very strong wings. It's actually how they fight. If you watch turkeys, they use their claws and they use their wings. So if you think about it, I mean, you have a 40-pound bird that is able to take flight. Those wings have to be strong. So they are very, very, very strong, and that just really helps you secure them down. So you grab that neck, you throw the towel over their wings, and then you can pick them up from there. In previous videos, you may have seen me actually grab them from under the wings, which is also a great way to do it. It's kind of a hunter's trick. For some reason, I couldn't get it with these birds. Again, I'm also blurring out this spot. We're doing the ventral neck cut on each side, letting it drain. So I do 2 at a time because one was draining while I was getting the other one. Now I can go ahead and start dunking this one, doing the scalding process, and let this one drain while I'm processing the other one. So it's just a little bit more efficient when you're doing it by yourself. Normally my wife does help me. However, she is pregnant right now, so the smell just doesn't work for her. But same thing, hold those legs so that they don't kick you in the face, and just get through those throws, and then you're going to be moving on to the next spot right here. I did want to say I was very, very impressed with these YardBird restraining cones. If you've watched my videos on the plucker, I really like their plucker. They sent me that apron. That apron works great. It's waterproof. I was worried that these birds were not going to fit inside the cones, and they did. So very happy with that, and I will definitely recommend them and put them in the link below. I almost forgot this step, so I cut just for a second to grab the vinegar. If you want to save the blood, I would highly recommend tossing a little bit of vinegar inside your bucket. It helps prevent coagulation. So that way it's not going to thicken up, and you can use it for later. You can always just let it drain into the ground, and I mean, it works great right there as long as you're not doing a massive amount of birds. But yeah, so that's what the vinegar is for. It prevents coagulation from the blood.
That's why you did it at a catty corner. Oh. Got it? Oh, that's nice having that glove.
Yes. So when it comes to the scalding, again, I do about 150 degrees. I find 150 to 155 is best for me in my area with humidity, climate, whatever it may be. So I like that. But as far as dunking it, how long I dunk it for, I don't really have a set time. I know there's things out there that say 30 seconds or 60 seconds. It all depends on the time. I really just do it until I can rub the breast feathers like this and see if they just pull off super easy. If they just peel off without much resistance, I know I'm good to go. If I have to pull them out, then I want to go ahead and dunk it a little bit longer. Biggest thing is to check a few times. You can see now. Okay, there we go.
You staying on that side or this side? What, bug?
For me, there's no real method to getting the feathers off. As I went on with these birds, I think I did the wings first, and then I did the legs, and then I did the chest. At the end of the day, just get all the feathers out, or as many as you want. They pull out pretty easily. So I do like these gloves as well, again, from YardBird. They were great. They have a roughness on the palm, so it worked really, really good. I could just rub across the chest, and the feathers would come out. So, but you do have to put a little bit more pressure on the wing feathers as well as the tail feathers because they're just a lot thicker. So, but we're going to sit here and feel free to fast forward or just keep watching because I'm going to show you how long it takes to pluck a turkey. you back up.
That's a bigger piece.
When it comes to plucking your chickens and turkeys and things like that, how detailed you do it is up to you. I do not like getting a feather in my mouth. Now, a lot of those little pin feathers, they will burn out when you cook the bird. For me, it just ruins a meal if I got a feather. It's happened to me before, and I just threw out the entire meal. So I'm very meticulous when it comes to making sure I get all of those little pin feathers out, because that's the last thing I want in my meal. It's really up to you. Again, most of them are going to burn out when it gets cooked. I'm a little OCD about it. At this point in time, this bird is plucked. It is perfectly fine for you to move on to the next step. Those pin feathers are going to cook out. I am OCD when it comes to these pin feathers, so I am going to go ahead and cut, because that bird is plucked. At this point, you could be done. I end up spending another, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes just making sure that I have every single little pin out of here. So I'm not going to make you watch that. So we're going to fast forward it. All right, so we have our turkey. Now, there's more than one way that you can process a turkey when it comes to this step here. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I like to do the feet first. So kind of bend the feet back. You're going to grab a knife, take the knife, and you're going to cut at the joint. So you're just going to open it up. Once you open it up, you can actually break it. And then sometimes you can pull it off. Otherwise, you just take that knife and you just slice back through. Now, these feet, you can do a couple things with them. You can give them to your dogs, so dogs will eat them raw. It's great for dogs. They love them. You can dehydrate them. I typically dehydrate them so that I can store them for longer, and I also sell them dehydrated. So you can dehydrate them, you can sell them, you can feed them to your dogs raw. You can also use it in compost, so you can put it at the bottom of compost. You just want to make sure that you're keeping it turned so that you don't have any sorts of weird critters or anything like that. But yeah, a bunch of different things you can do. The next step is going to be the head of the chicken. Or sorry, turkey. We're doing turkeys today, so it's going to be the head of the turkey. Now this part right here, the head is. Sometimes you can slice through it. Sometimes you got to put a little bit of pressure. Same thing with the head, though. I will dehydrate the heads and feed them to my dogs. So the dogs love it. I don't cook it. I dehydrate it. When you cook it, it makes the bones brittle. When you dehydrate it, they can actually chew through the bones. So some people like to go through the neck first. Some people like to go through the tail first. It just depends on my mood. But I'm going to make a small slice. It's going to be a horizontal slice. And then I'm going to remove the tail. People do like the tail. I take the entire thing off and toss it out. I got a guy who likes to do raw dog food, so let him do that. But anyway, I take the tail out. It's also got that stink gland in there, and I don't want anything to do with that. So take the tail out. Next thing I'm going to do is pull the skin. Now, whenever you're cutting, you want to make sure that you don't stick the knife directly in. You want to slice. So you're slicing open, and then you're pulling open. If you stick that knife straight inside, you have a high chance that you're going to puncture something that you shouldn't be puncturing. Inside here is the crop. Now, you can kind of see it. I'm going to adjust the camera here. It works a little better for you. There we go. All right. So when I open this up, there is inside the crop. The crop is where the bird stores its food. So it's like a sack. Now, these birds have not eaten in over 24 hours. I do that anytime I process because I don't want food inside the crop. If there's food inside that crop and you break that crop, man, it causes just a huge mess. You got to make sure that you really, really flush out the bird because you don't want any kind of bacteria inside there. And the crop is where it all starts to break down. So, of course, there has to be bacteria. But again, you're just going to be slicing. You don't want to stick that knife in. And you want to loosen the crop out so that you can pull it out in just a little bit here. this next thing that I'm pulling here, I have in my right hand, is left on your screen, the crop, and that right there that I just yanked out, that's actually the trachea. So sometimes when you pull it out, it'll make a little bit of a noise, but I just take that and I throw it in my discard bin. Now we're going to flip it around and work from the back. So I have my opening. Once I have the opening horizontally, I'm going to slice to do it. I guess you could call it vertical, but it's going to be kind of from the opening down to the tail. You got to be careful because right there by the tail, well, we all know it comes out of the butt of a chicken. So you just reach inside, you grab all the intestines, everything. You're going to feel the gizzard. It feels like a baseball inside there. So just grab it and pull it all out. You got to use some force, but get it all out. There we go. So we got our intestines. That right there was the connection to the anus. And I'm going to show you a couple different organs here. So this one, there's really, really dark, I guess you call it red or brown. So this is the liver. If you like turkey gravy, liver is great in turkey gravy. Next piece that I have here is going to, oh, that's more liver, sorry. Now, the super hard thing, like I said, it feels kind of like a baseball. That's the gizzard. I'm not a big fan of gizzard. I know a lot of people like gizzards, but the gizzard, you got to make sure that you wash it out and clean it out because that's going to have a bunch of food inside of it. Gizzard helps them break down all that stuff. And then you just have a whole bunch of guts that are gross. So when you reach inside, you can feel the heart. Sometimes I pull the heart out first, sometimes I don't, but that's the heart right there. So heart also, you can cook that up, you can fry it, you can put it in gravy. I'll probably use it for gravy. So yeah, we have some more discard. But at this point, you're just gonna scoop around and pull everything out. There should be nothing inside of the turkey. If you feel something, pull it out. Now, when it comes to the lungs, you got to kind of run your fingers along the rib cage in order to get it out. Or you can get one of these fancy tools like this that YardBird sells. It's called a lung remover. It has a jagged edge and it has a flat edge. So the jagged edge, it's curved, so you can run it right alongside the rib cage and get all of those lungs out. Now, lungs are one of the few things that they recommend that you don't eat. You'll notice the lungs because it's going to be a bright red. All the other blood is going to be kind of a darker red. The lungs are bright, bright red. If you don't have one of the lung removers, you can see that's the lung right there. It's that bright pinkish red color. So, but if you don't have one, it's kind of spongy texture to it. And honestly, it kind of looks like a brain, but I guess that's what a lung looks like. So, again, you just want to reach inside, use your fingers, feel around, get everything out. You're going to have to look at it a couple times. Of course, always make sure that you have a hose available so that you can rinse. I like to try and get everything that I can possibly get out before I start rinsing, because it's just a pain to keep going back and forth and back and forth. But it's got some guts. Let's go ahead and just get in there, man. Elbow deep. Here, I'm just taking extra little pieces of fat out. Again, I am very, very OCD when it comes to doing the processing. I don't like a whole bunch of fat. I don't like a bunch of just, flappy skin pieces. And I really just want to get everything out. It is important to get all the stuff inside out because you don't want those organs, especially if they have any kind of fecal matter or any kind of food or urine or anything like that. You don't want those, going bad inside the turkey while it's in storage. So just make sure you get everything you can out, and you're going to be able to tell. This is the fun part. Do be careful, though, when you're shoving your hand in there. Sometimes it depends on the turkey. Some of them got some real jagged pieces, some bones that stick out. Other ones are super smooth, but, some of them are pretty bad. But I have cut myself on the inside of a turkey before. I like to stick the hose straight into the neck hole as well and spray out that way. I think it's a good way to really get a lot of that stuff out of those rib cages. But once you get whatever you want to get sorted out, let's do a double check. Yep. So this is my least favorite part, and it's removing the neck. Now, I don't eat turkey necks, so turkey necks for me, that's dog food. You can cook them, you can dehydrate them, you can give them to them raw. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't really see the craze about them. Everybody likes something different though. But taking the neck off can be really hard. It can also be really easy. It just depends. I like to do some weight, so I'll cut the, sorry about the filming here. I'll actually cut around the muscle of the neck, kind of do all the way around. You can see I'm doing all sides. And then I typically will try to break it at that point. I feel like breaking it is one of the easier ways because it will definitely tear up a knife. A turkey's neck is very, very strong. So I'm just kind of hacking away at it. I'm not worried about it looking good because my dog's going to eat it. There's the break. All right, so the next 5 minutes is just going to be a bunch of obsessive compulsive rinsing, and then we're going to throw in the ice until we're ready to do the packaging, which is now. So packaging this bird. These bags that I got, I believe they were 30 inches by 16 inches. I'll look back and I'll leave the link down in the description. But they did fit the turkeys pretty well. You're just going to fit the turkey inside of it. It comes with a tube, so you're going to take the tube and you're going to stick that inside, and then you're going to take a zip tie. So it goes turkey in the bag, tube goes in the bag and the turkey. You can see that tube right there. And then you're going to stick that like that. You're going to tighten it up, and you're going to take a zip tie and you're going to tighten it around all of it. That tube is very important that it sticks out, because when we get to the next step, which is our actual shrink wrapping. So I like to put on the gloves because, I mean, hey, it's easy. So the water's not so hot that it's gonna, like, you know, burn you and give you a 3rd-degree burn, but it is nice to have them. So you take the bag, you stick it in hot water. You already have the zip tie on there. So you just shove the bag down. You're gonna hear the air escaping out of it, and you pull it out, and then you're gonna pull out that tube. You'll see it shrinks up just like that. That's why they're shrink bags. And then you tighten the zip tie, and there you go. You have a packaged turkey ready for your freezer. Of course, I'm going to give it one more rinse, even the bag, just to make sure that when it goes in my freezer, it doesn't have anything on it. So I like to rinse off the bags. It's just me. You do you.
That was about a 15-pound turkey. Into the freezer it goes. Now, some people leave it in the refrigerator, let it sit. I really don't care. I just throw it in the freezer. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your process is. Make sure you share this with your friends. See you next time on Ready Set Homestead. The only fluff is the feathers.